This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by
Connections Restored, helping people who have suffered from trauma, PTSD, and addictions. Connect with us at connectionsrestored.com. Connections Restored.
How are you today? I hope you're having the most amazing day. My name is Amy Boswinkle. I am an intuitive and a transformational life and business coach. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today about episode 34 of Connections Restored TV. Can you guys believe it? I am an affiliate of the Bill and Callie Show Network. If you guys don't know who Bill and Callie are, make sure you follow them here on Facebook at their business page, The Bill and Callie Show, because they're amazing, wonderful people who provide opportunities to people who have amazing stories of experience, strength, and hope. And I just love being connected to them. And they've given me this amazing opportunity to come and connect with not only my own audience, but their audience as well, and continue to share messages of how to better ourselves. And this is episode 34. Can you guys believe it? Let's just take a pause for a moment. For 34 weeks in a row, I've been able to come on here and create new content for everybody. And I'm so happy and beside myself in a good way of celebrating the fact that this mind was able to create 34 different topics for the past 34 weeks. So it's just been such an amazing journey. And this week I'm going to be talking about implementing the right boundaries around our emotional health in a world of unstable emotional people, right? Have you guys ever been connected to somebody within your own family unit or a work unit or somewhere in your life? Because I bet that everyone can relate to this in some way, and some of us are closer to these people than others, around someone when they get news, right? They're a very beautiful person. We love them. They're amazing. They're super fun to be around. But when they get news, right, that throws off the way that they see life, that changes the direction of the thinking and their forward momentum, right, when the standards have been changed on them, they get emotionally bent out of shape. Do you guys know this person? I'm connected to many of these people, and it took me a long time to realize that really all it was just a emotional instability with them, and I had to learn to create the right boundaries. I had to implement the right boundaries around my energy, and some of these people are people I'm really close to and I love a lot, and I've had to tell them some really hard truths, and it took me a long time to arrive there because I am someone who cares very deeply for others. I'm incredibly sensitive. I'm incredibly loving. I'm incredibly compassionate. But I had to learn the difference between sympathy and empathy, right? Because sympathy is when we're literally sympathizing. We're putting all of our emotions and connecting it to the other person's emotions so that we're lowering our emotional health, we're lowering our mental health, we're lowering our physical health to sympathize with the emotions of another person, meaning we lower our own standards and we take on the emotions of the person who's in front of us, who is having a hard time coping with whatever curveball life has just thrown at them. And sometimes those curveballs are being told no around something that they've been told yes to for a really long time, right? And as we start to take back our power and step into a place of empathy, right? Empathy isn't sympathy. Sympathy, like I just explained a moment ago, is when we're literally giving our emotions to another person and taking on their emotions as our own. And then now both parties are stuck in this emotional frenzy of, right? And then you leave the situation, you leave the experience, and you are drained. And if a person can't arrive at a conclusion and you keep revisiting their problem with them over and over and over again, and you start to get really frustrated and really angry, and really it's just about shifting that energy into empathy, because empathy is whenever you are able to understand from an emotional and mental and physical and spiritual point of view what that person is going through, understanding that that experience of life that they're going through is painful because you've probably had a very similar experience, right? So you can empathize with it. But you most likely, right, in empathy have arrived on the other side of the fence. So you've walked through an experience that felt really emotionally unstable. You were able to figure out a solution, and now you're standing on the other side. But you're no longer available to give that sympathy or those emotions to that other person. You're able to hold space, right? And what I mean by holding space is witnessing that other person and loving them with compassion, and seeing them and allowing them to express where it is they are in their life, but also holding them completely capable of taking action and arriving at a solution that works for them, instead of continually giving people information and advice. What I've learned in my own life is that advice is very useful, especially if it's coming from a source or a resource that we find incredibly valuable. But just because that resource or that source is incredibly valuable doesn't mean we're going to take action on that person's advice, right? How many of you in the audience, you can put it in the comments, put a number 1 in the comments. Even though we're on YouTube, you can still comment, put a number 1 in the comments if you have ever done that, right? You have ever given advice to somebody till you're blue in the face, or received advice from someone till they're blue in the face and not taken any action around it, knowing darn well that their advice is incredibly valuable and incredibly useful. And that's because it came from an outside resource. What shifts and changes for people is when we ourselves tell the people that we love the most in our life, I love you so much, and I empathize so much with the experience that you're walking through, and I'm here to listen to you. I am here to listen to you create the plan that you're going to execute, but sometimes arriving at the end result means looking outside of the box and finding alternate solutions. Otherwise, we're going to remain in the space of insanity, and insanity literally is repeating a behavior, whether it's emotional or physical, it doesn't matter, or a mental behavior, over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And many people live in insanity their entire lives because they're not willing to seek out solutions that are outside of their comfort zone. And sometimes it takes us being really strong with our boundaries for another person to get triggered, and they may not be happy with what we have said to them, depending on their level of emotional maturity. But we have to put up boundaries around our energy and what we're energetically available for. And as we do this, that other person is either going to fall away, or they're going to figure out the solution on their own, or they're going to give up, or they're going to do whatever it is they do. They're going to continue to find someone to complain to, because they want to be rescued. Nobody can rescue us. We rescue ourselves, right? So we can say, you know what, I am available to hear your plan. I'm here for you. I hold you completely capable, but I'm no longer available for the emotional instability that you're going through. I understand that when something comes to you the first time, I will be a great sounding board for you. I will listen. If you want me to express my opinion or my belief or offer you advice, I'm happy to do so. And I will then at that point leave the ball in your court. And that when you arrive at a solution that works right for you, I would love to hear about it. And here is the things that I can offer you while you're going through this process. I can offer you this and this, but I am unavailable to offer you this, this, or this. Right? And when you're very blunt and you just tell the person what you're available for energetically and what you're not available for energetically. And if this is the first time you're expressing your boundaries, implementing your energetic boundaries around what you're available for with people that we love, right? Like this is the closer the person is to us in our life, the thinner the emotional boundaries we have with them. Right? And the farther away the person is in our life, meaning it's a stranger that we've just met, it's really easy for us to implement our energetic boundaries around being around somebody who's exhibiting emotional instability. And that doesn't mean it's mental instability, because we all go through crises on a daily basis. And for some of us, really teeny tiny crises are huge to us. But when we're taking everyone down with us, right? When we're in that emotional space of life is terrible. Oh my gosh, I don't understand. What am I going to do? I don't understand how to get there, right? And it can be something really, 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 really minor, like maybe they need $2 extra to put in their gas tank so that they can get to and from work, right? It can be something really minor, but to that person, it's the end of the world. And they're going to make sure that everybody hears them, and they're going to demolish everyone in their path to the emotional state that they are in. And if we've allowed ourselves to go down to that level and be there with them out of sympathy, because we're like, yeah, that sucks, like I wish I could help you. I don't have $2 right now. Like maybe we can find $2 by scouring a parking lot. Maybe we could find $2 by asking the neighbor. Maybe we could find $2 by this or by that, And I know I'm using a very loose example, but I just want to kind of get it in your heads that sometimes really minor things can really throw a person off. And it really just is a matter of to do with the ability that they are able to handle their emotions in a stable way and figure out solutions in a self-sufficient manner. But most people have, had people hand solutions to them their entire life. And that when the emotions are strong enough and the person is tired of trying to figure it out, and they give in and they give that $2 instead of allowing that person to figure out the steps on their own. Well, we teach people how to treat us. If that's what we've taught them, then they're going to know they can come to us and they can walk all over us with their emotions anytime they want to. So when we create that new boundary, when we implement that new boundary in the beginning, and it's brand new, and that person, it's brand new to them, and they're not used to you behaving that way, saying things in that manner, it's going to trigger them to get angrier, most likely. Because emotional immaturity doesn't understand what boundaries are, especially when we've taught people how to treat us. And now we're behaving a different way, and we're asking them to treat us a different way. It's very confusing to that other person. So it's a matter of holding strong, getting very, very clear and concise on what the boundaries are in your mind, on paper, looking at it, connecting to the energy of it. And something I like to train my clients in is, when you say no to something, meaning like when you say no to another person dragging you down with their emotional instability, what are you saying yes to instead? Right? Training the brain to think differently around the solution. Oh, you know what? When I say no to this, I'm actually saying yes to my own inner peace. I'm actually saying yes to my own stability. I'm actually saying yes to my own energy. I'm actually saying yes to me honoring what I told that person to begin with. And when we retrain our own mind, not just logically, but the subconscious part of our brain too, it becomes easier and easier and easier to say with practice. because it takes 21 to 28 days to create a habit, right? A physical habit. So we have to continue to practice the new boundary with those people who are in our life. And remember, these are very stable, mentally stable people who just have a hard time probably hearing the word no or having things not go their way, right? Because we all have this idea in our mind that life is supposed to go a certain way, and that when life doesn't go, when Monday doesn't go the way we think Monday is supposed to go, because every Monday for the past 9 Mondays has gone this way, and now this Monday is different, and our central nervous system is loading up this response of like, oh my gosh, what's happening? We're about to die. Right? When we're dealing with that, then we have to create the right boundaries so that success in our own life becomes inevitable. So it's about practicing 21 to 28 days of telling this person over and over and over again, because at first, it's not that people want to be disrespectful to our wishes. They really, honestly don't. Most people don't want to be disrespectful of what we say we want. They just need it to be repeated to them so that they understand that you mean business. And the first time, the reaction from that other person in that space, it's most likely not going to feel very good. So it's about preparing ahead of time for whatever wrath might come. But a lot of times people will bow down and be like, but you have no idea, Amy. You have no idea what I have to go through. You have no idea how much energy that takes from me. You have no idea what they say. They cuss. They turn into a different person. It's just easier to give in. Well, if you're miserable and that behavior works for you, great. Be okay with it. Otherwise, a new solution that you could create for that person, because you come seeking out advice from a resource that you find valuable. If we're not right, and you're like, help me, help me, help me, but then when the solution is given to you and you're not willing to change your own behavior and your own perception and your own beliefs, because I or anyone doesn't understand what it's like, then nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? We have to create a new behavior so that other people can get on board with the new behavior. And the first time it isn't going to be pleasant or pretty. So it's about preparing ahead of time for the wrath and not taking it personally, because how another person reacts to us really has nothing to do with us and has everything to do with them. And it's about reminding, continually, repetitively reminding ourselves, when I'm saying no to this, when I'm creating this boundary, I'm saying yes to something that's more important to me instead. So that way, when you walk away from that scenario where that person has reacted and gotten angry from your new response, from your new boundary, the implementation of the new boundary you have created for yourself, it's not that your feelings and your nervous system aren't going to be like, that felt really weird, because it is. Okay, I'm letting you know right now, it's not going to feel pleasant. But you have already created a success system within yourself by mentally preparing. When I say no to this, I'm saying yes to this. And then you remind yourself, you practice over and over and over again. You retrain yourself. And then that way, for the next 21 to 28 days, as you're continually reminding this person of what your new boundaries are, you will recode your own emotions inside of you. It will be easier and easier and easier to tell this person no and not take on their objections so intensely as what you once did. The intensity of the emotions starts to dissipate, right? The intensity of the emotions gets calmer. We're able to handle and allow the other person to have their feelings, because feelings, we all get to have them. Feelings are not wrong. Feelings are not bad. Feelings are signals. Feelings are also not very logical. We may have emotions around something, an event that occurs, and react in a certain way, and we don't understand why. And literally it's because it's connected to a previous experience in our life that we're not even going through anymore, because the brain and the body are so primitive that it loads up a space in our life in the past that our logical mind isn't going to remember where it kept us safe, where it kept us strong, where it kept us alive, where it got us through a painful place, right? So feelings aren't logical. Feelings are signals, right? That we're in alignment, we're out of alignment, and that once we get a handle on our own emotions and we're not sympathizing with people so much, we're actually empathizing with them, which is still a very compassionate and loving space. It's just a space that holds more boundaries. It's a space that is more emotionally mature. Then that person will either come on board and they will change their behavior too. And it will allow them a space to think and reflect and be like, oh, you know what? I actually can create a new habit. I actually can create a new decision. I can create a new choice. I can create a new behavior. Right? And so as you shift and grow and change, you're offering opportunities to the other important people in your life to shift and grow and change along with you. But it's just a matter of having the patience, number one, right? The patience is key here to allowing that other person to stretch in their own time frame and meet you where you've decided you desire to be. We go first, right? We go first, we lead first, we teach first, and the energy follows us, right? And the energy of the universe follows us. And as it follows us, because we've decided to take a definitive stand and moving in a new direction that actually works out better for us, allows us to hold our power better, allows us to hold our energy better, allows us to hold our inner peace better, right? Then the energy follows. And if those people are not energetically available to grow, they'll find someone else to complain to. And it doesn't mean that person leaves your life. It doesn't mean that person thinks any different of you. It's just at first, it's getting through those first initial moments, days, hours, weeks, right? Of practicing implementing the new standard over and over and over again to get the other person on board, and going through the emotional yuckiness of us implementing that new boundary at first. But I guarantee you guys, I've seen it happen over and over and over again in my client's life and in my own life. If you hold strong and you hold true to implementing that boundary over and over and over and over again, and you don't give in, you hold strong. In 21 to 28 days, it's actually a lot easier. And you don't even have to say it as much. And your emotions start to shift and change, and that other person's emotions start to shift and change too, in such a short amount of time, right? You'll see, right? There's this saying, small hinges swing big doors, right? So taking a small little action step and implementing it over and over and over and over has the potential to open up lots of possibility in our life for the better, for more inner peace, for more happiness, for more courage, for more bravery, for more energy for ourselves, more self-acceptance, more self-love, all of those things. So I hope that you guys found this episode 34 of Connections Restored TV as valuable as I did, because I know that I have currently been walking through some really interesting spaces with my own family members and with clients and stretching into these next level selves. It doesn't always feel good at first, but on the other side is everything we've always wanted, is more inner peace, is more confidence, is more certainty, is more faith, right? More energy. And it's all about that, creating the conditions so that success in our life is inevitable. Episode 34 is all about implementing boundaries around our emotional health when we're surrounded by unstable, emotional people in our life who are actually really incredible, beautiful human beings whenever they're emotionally stable. So I hope that you found this video useful. Please put it in the comments if you did. I love seeing your guys' comments. So thank you so much for being a fan. I absolutely love, honor, and value you, friends. I'm happy to answer any questions. You can reach out to me on Facebook at Amy Boswinkle or my business page, Connections Restored, via private messenger on Facebook. I'm happy to have a conversation with you, create more clarity in your life, chat with you about things that maybe you have been experiencing in your life that don't feel very good. I absolutely love connecting with people. Please be sure to like and follow my business page on Facebook. It's Connections Restored. And please be sure to like and follow the Bill and Callie show here on Facebook as well. I love you all so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your evening. And I'll be talking to you all again very soon, next week in fact. Take care. Love you.
This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by
Connections Restored, helping people who suffer from trauma, PTSD, and addictions. Connect with us at connectionsrestored.com. Connections Restored.